Ndtv 24/7 as we are tracking those nursery admissions. Well, January 16 is the last day of those admission forms. So I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of buzz about it, and then parents are looking forward to the first list. Well, we'll get to that a little later, but first, of course, on those admission forms, joining us this morning is the principal of Laxman Publc School, Dr. Usha. Good morning, ma'am, and thank you very much for joining us. Also joining us, our reporter Sumit Vohra, who joins us from popular school Springdale, from the capital. Of course, she's tracking those admissions right throughout on the buzz, the rush in the morning. So we will figure out and answer all your questions. So do call us on the number we have been flashing. Let me first come to you, ma'am. Well, what you've seen from January 2nd to date, do you believe that there are people still looking for forms? They're still looking for forms, the admission forms?
Yeah, today is the last day, so a lot of people are there already outside.
So, how many forms has Laxman Publc School sold? From a survey we gather that the ratio is 1:50 from an average school, and more popular schools almost gets to 90 forms and just one admission.
I know. Already we have received 2,700 forms, and today is the last day. 2,700 we have received, and we have only 110 seats available in the general category. Okay. Out of that, sibling, alumni, everybody will get.
And when are you coming out with your first list?
According to the rule, in the first week of February, on 1st of.
Okay, on the first week.
We are following the government rules, yes. Yeah.
Okay. We have a caller already. Who's this? We have a caller calling from Hyderabad, Manoj Sharma. Good morning, Manoj. What's your question?
Good morning.
What's your question?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, what is the right age for a child to get admission into nursery?
Okay. Ma'am, could you take that question?
Yeah. Yeah, so the best age is 3+, 3.5 plus. But then according to the government rule, the child should be 3+ for applying for the nursery admission. That is between 3 and 4. Between 3 and 4 is the right age for nursery.
Okay, Manoj, I hope that answers your question. It's about 3, but then ideally there is that big debate as to a parent should be able to decide when his child should go to school. So that's with that, ma'am. But in the run-up to the first list, we do hear a lot of schools are going to announce the first list much earlier. Is that true?
See, I have no idea about other schools. We are very clear. I am going to go according to the government rule, because today will be the last day. After that, the point system we have to take out. It takes time. So we are going to go. I have no idea what other schools are going to do.
Okay. Do you have the first list for both the general category and EWS category?
Yes. EWS already we have received more than 200 forms, so we might be taking out a lottery after the point system. So point system is the one which we are going to follow. But in case anybody follow, for example, in 65 points there are more than, say, the number, we'll take out a lottery.
Okay. Let's also go across to Sonal, who joins us from Springdale this morning. She has a couple of parents who, of course, have still looking for those forms. Remember, it's from January 16 that those forms started getting sold. Sonal, what's it like this morning there?
Right from the start of the year, from the 2nd of Jan till today, it's been a mad rush. Parents struggling between schools to school every early morning, trying to go out, trying to get forms first. Then the entire process of submission started. And today, finally, the first leg ends. There are obviously still many parents who haven't been able to get through, not satisfied, not scoring a few points here and there. But the good news is that most of them have, in a way. And today, being in a way, shuts down fast the first leg of this entire admission process. I have with me a parent who was just telling me a little while back, मैम आप बता रही थी कैसे कि आप ऑफिस भी जाती हैं, सुबह आपको हर रोज जल्दी आके पहले फॉर्म लेने की जल्दी थी या फॉर्म सबमिट करने का होता है, तो हमें पूरा एक्सपीरियंस अपना बताइए।
मतलब
of January मतलब I am very मतलब ना tired of कि मतलब सुबह उठना फिर हमें ऑफिस भी जाना है और फिर यहाँ आ जाते हैं लाइन में फिर ये लोग बोलते थे ये टाइम खत्म हो गया और गो बैक टू होम और हम वापस जाते हैं फिर उधर ड्यूटी से एडजस्ट कराना ऑफ नहीं मिलते एवरी संडे वी हैव ऑफ एंड स्कूल भी ऑल्सो क्लोज ऑन संडे ना तो हम लोगों के लिए बहुत प्रॉब्लम है फिर ये है कि इन लोगों ने इतने पॉइंट्स कम दिए हुए हैं मोस्ट ऑफली मतलब क्रिश्चियन स्कूल में मतलब 50 पॉइंट्स फॉर द क्रिश्चियन पेरेंट्स मतलब एंड आई हैव ओनली 5 पॉइंट्स और मतलब 10 पॉइंट्स और इवन आई हैव सीन लास्ट टाइम व्हेन आई गो फॉर माय एल्डर डॉटर तो हाँ यही था और इवन सिबलिंग केसेस में भी मतलब बच्चों को मिला नहीं था पेरेंट्स मतलब इस चीज के लिए एप्लीकेशन दे रहे थे वहाँ के मतलब प्रिंसिपल्स को कि हम लोग के बच्चे ऑलरेडी पढ़ रहे हैं फिर भी एडमिशन नहीं दिया
नहीं मिल रहा है So you see, Kulsum, the same anxiety which we saw the first day continues. The first day we were here, we had a long queue of parents standing in lined up to take the forms. Today the queue is shorter, but they still are parents anxious, full of anxiety to get their pens through to a good school.
I know, Sonal, aren't you and I happy that we finished with nursery a zillion years back?
Absolutely. I should actually check with my parents and console with them of how much trouble they must have gone through, I'm sure, clearing out.
Believe me, my parents say it wasn't this bad. Thanks very much for joining us. Well, also joining us this morning is Mr. Sumit Vohra, the founder of admissionsnursery.com. Well, of course, he's the man who's answering a lot of queries of all you parents online. We also have the principal of Laxman Publc School, Dr. Usha. Well, sir, thank you very much for joining us. Well, you heard the parent out there. Today is the last day of those application forms being sold, and as our reporter says, there's still parents who are actually buying these forms.
Actually, what happened was like people were expecting the verdict would come, and they were waiting for the verdict. Now the verdict has postponed to 18th.
Yes.
So those people have come today, most of them.
Okay.
Yeah, and some people just taking chance, or like you know, people are sitting fill at least 20 forms, 18 forms. You know, here they're just filling more forms.
Okay.
But even I would recommend that fill the maximum forms you can.
Okay.
Even my last tip would be like even if like you don't have a very sought after school, at least try to block. There are very new good schools in Dwarka side, and they don't give points on neighborhood. They take people from anywhere because they're like short of parents and kids. Yeah. So yeah, so the parents can apply there also, and further they can shift after 1 or 2 years to the school.
But from everything that you gather, if you go to school, the way they are implementing the norms is completely different. Like we hear some schools say, they're saying they're going to announce the first list much before what DOE says.
Yeah, it is totally against the Gazette passed by Lieutenant Governor, and it says the EWS and the general category quota list has to come in one. I raised a point. It has been questioned in 6 newspapers today.
Okay.
Yeah, and there are at least dozen schools coming before 1st February.
1st February.
So before, like, you cannot come with a general list.
So how does the school benefit with that?
Like there's a lot of schools like which are not very sought after.
Yeah.
Okay, so they want to block the seats. They know if they come on 1st February, people will go to sought after schools, and their seats will lie vacant. And some schools are very expensive. People don't go to those schools. So those schools want to just occupy the seat. That's the main issue.
Okay.
Like, and a very interesting thing, one school has come, which is coming on, I do not take the name, I think 23rd or 21st, and it has written the selected candidates would be given this admission until 28th. On first come, first serve basis.
Oh my.
They are so insecure because they know on first people will migrate to better schools.
Other schools. Okay, we have a caller online. This is Anirudh. Good morning, Anirudh. What's your question?
Good morning. I've got 2 questions. One is that you see there are several people from outside Delhi, like which are from Calcutta, and we would like to have our children to get admitted into Delhi schools because we are here for job purpose. The problem is the kind of criteria list that these schools have for us, proving that we should have our IDs in Delhi. Now that's a big problem. None of us has our IDs which pertains to Delhi, and then on those criteria we are losing out, on the scores. And then where do we get our children admitted then? This is my first question.
Right.
Should I go for my second one also now?
Could you just hold on? I'll get your first question answered. Ma'am, could you take that question?
Yes. See, I request the people who are coming from outside, for example from Calcutta or anywhere, there are points for neighborhood, there are points for first child, it depends. So you have to find out whichever school has. Right now, instead of going for any kind of anxiety, it is very important that you should put your child, because don't make your child feel, you're not getting selected and all that. Okay, you have taken a lot of forms, but wherever you are getting the admission, please see that put your child. We take it that almost all the schools are good, especially for preschool. It is important that your child should be in the neighborhood, in the conducive environment and a happy place to go in.
Okay, but you differ with that.
I differ with that. I think the gentleman is asking here that they don't have ID proof, like residence proof. Am I right?
Are you on the phone line?
Yeah, I'm on the phone line. Can you hear me?
Your question is that you don't have a proper ID proof that is not approved by schools. Am I right?
Yeah, that's right.
That is the exact question, and he's perfectly right. What happens is some school just accept passport and voter ID card.
Okay.
Now, from where you will get the passport ID card? The option for these people are like some school accept 6 months old registered rent lease deed, antenna bill also, and you can get a bill also. But there's a problem. Every school has got a special requirement of identification of.
My God, this sounds like it's more complicated than applying for a passport. Admissions, and you have to get your voter ID. You've got your.
If you go to X school, they will say we'll take only your passport and voter ID card. Others will say we'll take your ration card also. And third will say ration card is bogus, you can make it in 5 rupees. And fourth will say we'll take your rent deed. So the people like them can make a rental lease deed, and moreover they'll get transfer points also.
Okay.
And they are very genuine. They can show always that we have been transferred from Calcutta and look at our transfer documents, and we are staying on rent. So some school might consider that.
Okay. Anirudh, what's your second question?
Second question is a very general one, because man said that not to get anxious, but then you see the kind of scramble, like 2,700 applications man said has been submitted, and then we have only 110 seats. Now, then what do we do? Like if my child this year I applied for several schools, but nowhere she gets an admission, then what do I do? What's the advice from man? Then what should we do? Should she lose a year or what exactly?
Okay. Ma'am?
No, I don't think you have to lose the year. It is important that you should go for any neighborhood, any small preschool also. You should see that your child gets in. And then look for another big school at a little later stage. See, you don't have to really feel so dampened initially. You might get it because everybody is applying in so many schools. So it's not that there is a scarcity of that level. But still, if you do not get in so-called good schools that you are looking for, please go for any neighboring good preschool, because your being with your child in the neighborhood and conducive happy environment is more important for 3+ than anything else.
Right. Anirudh, I hope that answers your question. Importantly, that you get your child admitted in any preschool in your neighborhood. Understandably, it's a lot of hassles, but don't worry, the government will have to really look at some of those malpractices that are going on in a lot of schools, and those will be answered. We continue to track this for all you hassle parents. Thanks very much for joining us. Ma'am, thank you very much for joining us this morning and answering all those questions. Mr. Sumit Vohra, also thank you very much for joining us. But at 9 o'clock, we are having this debate once again on why is, why this Kolaveri on these nursery admissions only in Delhi. All other cities seem to be doing pretty much fine. So we will come back with that at 9 o'clock. So do join us again. We're also going to have parents